After finishing overtime, I returned home, and my husband suddenly told me he had fallen for someone else. I only want a divorce to be with her, even if it means leaving penniless. I stared at the divorce papers on the table. Suddenly, I let out a sigh of relief. Okay, I agree. Being fickle is human nature. I'm the same. Chang Jianan looked at me in astonishment. You. You just agreed. I sneered, my tone dripping with unconcealable sarcasm. What else should I do? Oh? Did you think I should go mad, demanding to know who that woman is? Huh? And I should be crying and begging you not to leave, begging you not to get divorced, right? On one hand, you're willing to leave penniless just to divorce me, and on the other, you wish I would beg you to stay. So, do you actually want a divorce or not? Is your left brain fighting with your right? Kang Jianan was rendered speechless. I ignored him. I picked up the divorce agreement and carefully read through it, making sure it was fine. I reached for my bag to get a pen. Chang Jianan had been in such a hurry to pull me inside earlier that I hadn't even had time to hang my bag on the door hook. After working overtime and getting home, I hadn't had a single bite of hot food. He hadn't even asked me why I was back so late. I was sick of this icy cold life too. I pulled a pen from my bag. Smoothly, I signed both copies of the divorce agreement. Stabbing the cap back on, I stared at the pen in my hand. Its color badly faded. Object. A gift from Chang Jianan on our first anniversary. HED used half a month's part minus time wages to buy it for me. After almost 20 years of use, it was worn minus out and shabby. It was about time for a new one. I threw the pen into the trash bin. Let's go get the paperwork done first thing tomorrow morning. Then I turned and walked away without looking back. I went to my daughter Yang Yang's room. She had her back to me, hiding under the covers. I walked over and sat on the edge of the bed. Stop pretending to sleep. I know you saw. After a long while, she finally turned over and sat up, her eyes red. Mommy, is Daddy leaving us? I sighed inwardly. But Yang Yang was only 12. In her eyes, her parents were her whole world. After Chang Jianan and I separated, no matter who she stayed with, half of that sky would collapse for her. But she was also a member of this family. She deserved to know about all the changes happening at home. I was honest with her. After living for almost 40 years, I've seen a lot of partings, so I can accept separation pretty quickly. Yes, Daddy asked me for divorce, and I agreed. But we're just not husband and wife anymore. We're still the parents who love you the most. Yang Yang looked at me. Tears poured out like a broken dam. Mommy, I'm sorry. She covered her face. Tears streamed through her fingers. I was utterly confused. Wasn't the apology supposed to be my line? I quickly moved her hands away from her face. Gently, I wiped her tears dry. What's wrong? Why are you apologizing to me all of a sudden? Yang Yang cried in heaving sobs, her shoulders shaking. That time Daddy came to pick me up from school. It was with a pretty auntie. Daddy said the auntie was his secretary. But when Daddy was driving, that auntie kept leaning on him, and her hand was on Daddy's thigh. I'm sorry, Mommy. I didn't mean to lie to you. I really didn't know how to say it. I clenched the bedsheet tightly. My eyes grew colder by the inch. How dare Chang Jianan? How dare he flaunt it right in front of Yang Yang? I let out a heavy sigh. My heart's aching. I pulled her into a tight hug. Yang Yang, this is not your fault. Anyone facing something like this would be conflicted. If it were me, I'd be the same. Yang Yang let go of me. Her tear-filled eyes looked at me pitifully. Mommy, do you still want me? I froze for a moment. I reached out and gently stroked the back of her head. He smiled and said, "Should Mommy be asking you, are you willing to come with me?" Yang Yang sniffled and nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. I pinched her little cheek. All right, you have school tomorrow. Go to sleep early. She obediently lay down. I waited until she fell asleep, Only then did I turn off the light and leave the room. The next day, Chang Junan and I went to process the divorce paperwork. Chang Junan also started packing his things, preparing to move out. Neither Yan Yang nor I offered to lend a hand. We treated each other as if we were transparent. But that evening when I came home from work, Chang Junan stopped me. "Your mom called me today." My heart suddenly jumped into my throat. She said J.I.R.G. lost his job and wanted me to help him to get him a job at my company. This isn't a hard thing for me. So I agreed, but I thought I should still tell you. As soon as the words left his mouth, I had already taken out my phone and dialed my mom's number. I even put it on speakerphone. The call connected quickly. "Mom, tell J.I.R.G. to figure out the job situation himself. Chang Jun and I are already divorced. Don't contact him about this kind of thing anymore." The air on the other end of the phone seemed to freeze for a second, followed immediately by my mother's piercing scream, stinging my eardrums. "Yizen, have you grown wings? Daring to hang up on me?" My mother's voice carried her usual imperious tone. "Do you know J.I.R.G.'s hair is turning gray from worry about finding a job? Chang Jun is doing so well now." "Oh, what's wrong with helping out his brother? Mine isn't made us a bit. It's only right and proper." I expressionlessly held the phone a little further away. My gaze went past Chang Junan, who stood awkwardly in the entryway, and landed on the gray sky outside the window. First, Chang Junan and I are already divorced. Second, J.I.R.G. is your son, not Chang Junan's son. Save those words, right and proper, for yourself. You ungrateful rat. If it weren't for me and your dad paying for your education back then, would you be where you are today? Now that you have a little money, you've forgotten your own family?" Mom cursed, furious. "Chang Junan, you say something. Are you just going to stand there and watch her bully me?" Chang Junan, who had been silent until now, finally couldn't help but speak up, his tone carrying a hint of placatine and helplessness. "Mom, don't be angry. Zen is tired from work. She's just speaking harshly." "Just tired? Who isn't tired? I'm telling you, Chang Junan, you handle this whether you want to or not. Otherwise, I'll go make a scene at your company. Let the whole world know that Chang Junan abandoned his wife and child, that he's a scumbag." Beep, 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 beep. I hung up the phone directly and promptly powered it off. The room fell into an eerie silence. Chang Junan stood with his mouth agape, still holding his half-packed suitcase, looking like a comical statue. "Zen, was that necessary?" He sighed, a hint of reproach actually appearing in his eyes. "Mom is getting old, and J.I.R.G. really is having a hard time. I only agreed to let him be a security guard or do some back-minus office work at the company. It's not an important position." "Chang Junan." I cut him off coldly. "Do you think that just because I don't go crazy or cry and make a scene, I'm still the Yizen you can push around however you like?" He was stunned for a moment. I walked forward, my fingers lightly brushing the frame of our wedding photo taken the year Yang Yang was born. In the photo, we were smiling, straight and polite. I turned it around, facing away from the living room. "Did you agree to help J.I.R.G. find a job to atone for your sins?" I stared into his eyes, enunciating each word clearly. "Or is it that you never actually plan to really leave? You want to use this method to maintain this disgusting connection between us?" Chang Junan's face changed. "What nonsense are you talking? I'm even willing to leave penniless. What other intentions could I possibly have?" "Oh, really?" I sneered, pulling a document from my bag. It was an investigation report the lawyer had casually given me this morning when we were finalizing the divorce, then explained this. "Why, is the deed to that suburban villa you sold a long time ago still in your name? And why is your so- called unemployment just a cover to transfer the company's shares to that woman's name?" Chang Junan's pupils contracted violently. The suitcase in his hand fell to the floor with a thud. You investigated me?" "I not only investigated you, I also know that the so minus called secretary, Anti isn't a secretary at all. I looked at his panicked expression, but felt not a ripple of emotion in my heart. Only a sense of relief and liberation. She's a new intern at your company, just turned 20. Chang Jun-an, you have quite the taste. His lips trembled. He wanted to retort, but couldn't get a single word out. Just then, Yang Yang's bedroom door suddenly opened. She walked out rubbing her eyes, still clutching that old worn minus out teddy bear. Mommy, I heard Grandpa and Grandma arguing. I immediately wiped the cold severity from my face, walked over, and crouched down to hug her. It's nothing. Daddy was just dealing with some spam calls. Yang, go back to sleep. You have to get up early tomorrow. Yang nodded obediently, but as she passed by Chang Jun-an, her steps faltered. She looked up. For the first time, those clear eyes held no adoration for her father. Instead, they held a strange sense of distance. Daddy, she said softly, that auntie's hands. They were really dirty. Chang Jun-an recoiled as if burned. Taking a sharp step back, his face stinging as if slapped. Chapter 3 Departure. Early the next morning, I took Yang to school. Watching her small figure, backpack and all, walk through the school gates, I took a deep breath of the chilly morning air and sent a WeChat message to Shenji. Things are packed. Ready to leave anytime. Shenji replied quickly. Flight tickets are booked. 3 p.m. this afternoon. Everything is arranged on the other side, waiting for you and Yang to land. Yes, going abroad. This was the escape route I had planned long ago, rather than ragging out a miserable existence in this city full of schemes and betrayal. It was better to take my daughter and start fresh in a completely new environment. When I got home, it was already noon. I never expected that, as soon as I opened the door, I'd see my mother sitting on the sofa, with Chang Jun-an standing beside her like a henpecked husband. Ching? I frowned. How did you get in? Mom stood up abruptly. In her hand was that old pen I had thrown in the trash. I had no idea when she'd fished it out. How did I get in? And your mother. Could this door really stop me? She slammed the pen down hard on the coffee table, making a sharp, unpleasant sound. Yizan, you've grown wings. Haven't you? You even changed the locks. Huh? I glanced at the lock and understood. Probably a spare key from Chang Jun-an. Say what you have to say. I have things to do this afternoon, I said coldly. I heard you're going abroad. Mom's eyes darkened. Are you trying to run off with Yang? Trying to shake us off for good? I raised an eyebrow, not denying it. So what if I am? You wouldn't dare. Mom suddenly flew into a rage, rushing over to grab my hair. You good minus for minus nothing. You want to take our Chang family's flesh and blood abroad to be a stepmother for that Shenji? I'm telling you, not a chance. I was prepared. I sidestepped her claws and grabbed her wrist. Mom, watch your language. Yang is my child, and I raised her. As for Chang Jun-an, since he's already signed the divorce papers, who Yang goes with is a matter for the law to decide. You venomous woman. Mom trembled with rage, turning to look at Chang Jun-an. Say something. Are you just going to stand there and watch her bully your mother minus and minus law? Watch her take your daughter and run off with another man. Chang Jun-an's face was ashen. He stepped forward, trying to pull my mother away. Mom, stop making a scene. The child being with the mother is only right and proper. Right and proper. My foot. Mom shoved Chang Jun-an away. You useless coward. Can't even control a woman. I'm telling you. He said, if you dare take one step out that door today, I'll die right in front of you. With that, she actually charged towards the balcony, pretending she was about to jump. The scene felt familiar. 10 years ago, to force me to marry Chang Jun-an, she had stood right here just like this. Watching her flailing about, I felt not a shred of fear in my heart, only pity. Mom, go ahead and jump, I said calmly. The police station is right downstairs. I'll call them right away. Perfect timing for the police to come. We can settle all the money you've borrowed over the years in the name of family, along with the matter of Chang Jun and transferring assets. and let the officers see for themselves how you drive your daughter minus in minus law to her death. Mom's movements froze. She stared at me in disbelief. You. What did you say? You're actually cursing me to die. It's not a curse. It's stating a fact. I picked up my phone, making a show of dialing. If you're not going to jump, then please leave. I need to pack for the airport. Chang Jun finally couldn't take it anymore. He walked over and pulled my still minus stunned mother. Mom, stop this. I'm begging you. Please, just go home for now. You. All of you. Mom pointed at us, her finger shaking. Fine, you've all rebelled. Hey Yizan, you just wait. If you dare leave, I'll sue you for custody. I'll make sure you never have a moment's peace in your life. Cursing and raving, she was pushed out the door by Cheng Junan. The world was finally quiet. Looking at the mess in the room, I let out a long, heavy sigh. All the furniture that once made me feel warm now seemed like cold, lifeless corpses. I walked into the study, opened the safe, and took out that family portrait. I tore it in half, then into quarters, and finally threw it into the shredder. At 2 p.m., pulling my suitcase and holding Yang Yang's hand, I walked out of the home I had lived in for 10 years. The moment the elevator doors opened, I saw Chang Junan standing downstairs. He seemed to want to say something, but upon seeing my icy gaze, he ultimately just silently stepped aside. Airport. Shenji was already waiting at the arrivals gate. Seeing us, he immediately came forward and took my suitcase. All taken care of? He asked softly. I nodded, looking at the bright sunshine outside the terminal. Suddenly, my eyes felt a bit sore. Yang. I crouched down, looking into my daughter's eyes. Once we're abroad, Mommy might be very busy. I'll need to find a new job, adapt to a new environment. You might miss Daddy, miss your old friends. If you feel unhappy, tell Mommy anytime, okay? Yang, however, was unusually mature. He shook her head and stretched out her little finger, hooking it with mine. Mommy, I'm not scared. As long as you don't leave me, I'll be happy anywhere we go. I hugged her tightly, and tears finally spilled from my eyes. The boarding announcement sounded. Holding Yang's hand, I followed Shenji towards the boarding gate. Through the huge glass wall, I took one last look at this city. Cheng Junanen, that so minus cold secretary, stood behind the crowd. He looked at me, his eyes complex, and my mother stood even farther away, like a resentful ghost. I did not look back. The plane soared into the sky. Piercing through thick clouds, sunlight spilled onto the wings. I took out my phone and turned it on. Dozens of missed calls popped up on the screen. Most from my mother, with a few from Cheng Junan mixed in. I deleted all the records directly. Then, I opened the notes app and created a new document. The title was New Life. I knew the road ahead might not be smooth. Abroad, I would face language barriers, cultural shocks. Yang's grades might slip because of the change in environment. Shenji and I would also need time to adjust to each other. But so what? At the very least, I wouldn't have to eat facing a hypocritical face anymore. I wouldn't have to smell that nauseating stench of gutter oil. I wouldn't have to act to maintain a false family anymore. I touched the bank card in my pocket, the private savings I had secretly stashed away over the years. Even Cheng Junan didn't know the password. Yang had fallen asleep leaning on my shoulder, her breathing even. Looking out the window at the boundless blue sky, the corners of my mouth slowly lifted into a genuine smile. Yizhen, welcome to your new world.